We just need verification that he lost his.
Landon,
insurance
can you hear and see us
at
okay?
any time.
Yeah, everything looks and sounds good to me.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Good morning, everybody. If we could stand for the pledge. Supervisor Andal, will you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We'll start with staff announcements.
We have a very active little bunny energizer puppy today. This is Dolores and Bunny. Bunny's a German Shepherd mix. She's about 10 months old and she came in severely emaciated, but she's gained a little weight. So she's about 50, probably 55 pounds now. She is great with other dogs. We don't know so much about cats yet. But interestingly enough, she doesn't do a lot of barking in our kennel, because our shelter can get real loud and the dogs get real excited, and she doesn't do a lot of barking, even with all the activity. So with her bunny ears, that's hence her name, Bunny. She has beautiful coat. She doesn't shed that much. She does have some short hair. I just noticed some of my dog short hairs on my vest. But she is wonderfully sweet and she will do well with any human family. So she passed all her behavioral tests nicely, and she will need to be spayed before she goes home. And at this time, a meet and greet. She is spayed? Oh, thank you. She is spayed. News to me. And as always, a meet and greet is required if you have other pups at home. So you can contact us at Calaveras Animal Services, 209-754-6509. And she loves her ball. Thank you, Dolores. So I wanted to provide an update on our volunteer hours in September. We had our dog volunteers give over 660 hours of their precious time. That's a lot of time. I wasn't able to secure the cat volunteer hours, but I will report on those at the next meeting. In September, we had 22 adoptions, which is awesome. So we have our dogs rotating in and out all the time. Our focus last clinic of the year was this past weekend, was another success. Dr. Kathy Gatlin was the DVM in charge of giving the rabies vaccines. She gave over 141 vaccines and 61 more pups went home with a microchip. We would like to thank Focus and all our volunteers for their dedication and continuing commitment to protect our Calaveras animals and the community. And a very special thank you to all the DVMs that have volunteered their time throughout the year for these clinics. In 2025, the focus clinics are as follows. These are the totals for 2025. 763 rabies vaccines were given and 226 microchips were injected, which means that many more pups are going to be protected along with their humans, and 226 more pups will find their way home if they get lost. And that is all I have. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, everyone. Sheriff Rochelle Whiting. I just have two quick things. One, as you can probably see from our social media sharing, October is Breast Cancer Awareness. As I can see in beautiful clothes. Employees of the Sheriff's Office have the option of wearing pink patches or in polo shirts that embroidered with pink. Under Sheriff Villegas, as you can see, is wearing his pink proudly. And we're also doing a fundraiser this year. So I have some flyers here for the board members. All proceeds, nothing is going to the Sheriff's Office. It's all going to the American Cancer Society. We all know, especially at the Sheriff's Office, how much cancer affects all of our lives. And unfortunately, a lot of our staff deal with people on their worst days and understand the effects of it. So we always want to bring recognition and awareness to that and donate accordingly. Secondly, when the Sheriff's Office presented our portion of the strategic plan to the board, and when we discussed our methodology for creating our goals and objectives, we talked to you guys about the community survey and how we want to engage with the community for sustained dialogue. And when we did so, Supervisor Tofinelli suggested that we come up with cards. So we have those cards presented, printed, and although we've had our community survey available online for the past year and we've been getting good feedback, the deputies are putting these cards out on bulletin boards around the community and in some of the storefronts and whatnot. So I just wanted to bring you a copy of these cards. And that is all that I have to report. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry. I'm just gonna put flyers up here so everyone that comes up can get one.
Are there any other staff announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on to public comment. Madam Clerk?
Any item of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and is not posted on the consent or regular agendas may be addressed during the public comment period. California law prohibits the board from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Board of Supervisors. If public comment is completed before the 30-minute allotted time period, the board may immediately move to the next order of business. If public comment is not completed during the allotted time period, it will be continued as the last item of business in order to provide an opportunity for the remainder of comments to be heard.
Thank you. Mr. Stoughton?
Honorable Chair, Deputy Clerk to the Board, and I understand that we have some new people that are will be watching the live feed today on YouTube and on the county's website, but they're not. No, that's always a gamble. I'm going to talk to you about this jacket for a second because it has something to do with government. And for a couple of days now, we've known this storm has been coming. And I said, well, where's my green Helly Hansen jacket? Having purged a lot of things out of the house lately, I thought I might have thrown it away. But last night, while in bed, I said, oh yeah, I remember where I put that. And the reason this jacket is important to me is it's a Helly Hansen that I bought in Oslo, Norway. And Norway is very dear to my heart. In Norway, government is, they are not a very religious people. They have these state churches and, the tourists visit those and they pay a little homage to it. But basically their government is seemingly what they worship. Their government buildings are similar to cathedrals that we would have, and albeit smaller, and local governments have these. They put a great deal of money into this, and it was back before the pandemic that I was in Oslo. I study government, and people really don't know what I do. A few years ago, there was an article written, and it said the thesis was, are Americans too stupid for democracy? And I looked at that and I said, well, that's kind of an insult. It's not that Americans are not too stupid for democracy, is that they're not knowledgeable. We don't provide them with the information that they need to make informed decisions. It's imperative. I know you guys want to get elected again, but honestly, some of you shouldn't. Not you on the chair. You're doing a fine job. I mean, you miss a few things here and there, but other than that, you're doing a fine job. And that you put such faith in people that you shouldn't put faith in, some staff members, is very concerning to me. You will never be respected if you continue with that behavior. With that, I was not here to actually speak. I had some recorded items that needed to taken care of.
Thank you.
Take care.
Mr. Butner?
My name is Christopher Butner, publisher of Calaveras 2026 election.com. The October 1st, 2025 Highway 4 in Murphy's memo from the Public Works Director to the Board of Supervisors Chair provides a starting point for transparency to determine who knew what and when regarding the Caltrans State Route 4 concrete median project in Murphy's. The memo does not, however, delineate accountability for the county's internal breakdown of communication and processes, nor does it address the root causes for this contentious and self-inflicted controversy. An analysis of public records received from County Council provides a clear and identifiable fact pattern establishing a 2-year chronology of Caltrans project notifications with estimated timelines, including this now county contested Caltrans project, having been repeatedly distributed to numerous Calaveras County officials by Caltrans and the County Council of Governments. There were many missed opportunities for the county to object. The fact pattern that emerged from analysis of public records and confirmed by the Highway 4 in Murphy's memo summary points to the internal breakdown of communication and processes contributing to a lack of continuity and institutional knowledge sharing between 3 public works directors from June 2024 to January 2025. County records substantiate that County Council and/or one or more in a succession of 3 public works directors were notified of this Caltrans project a dozen times between February 2023 and February 2025. The District 3 supervisor, the current District 1, 4, and 5 supervisors, and former District 2 supervisor were all notified in June 2024 by County Council and again in September 2024 by the interim Public Works Director. 1 year later, on September 11, 2025, a Facebook post expressing outrage at the sudden appearance of the hazardous Caltrans concrete median appeared on the District 3 Supervisor's official county Facebook page. How did the placement of Caltrans roadwork ahead hazard signs at all 4 intersection approaches by August 29, 2025, not provoke the District 3 Supervisor's curiosity and inquiry? Did none of you, especially the District 3 Supervisor, have curiosity or concern during these last 2 years or take the time to understand the community implications of this Caltrans project? Is there nobody on the county's payroll actively monitoring all letter notifications and district meeting agendas to stay current and ahead of all Caltrans project timelines and sequent announcements that may be of concern or impactful to Calaveras citizens, the business community, and the local economy? My name is Christopher Butner, publisher of Calaveras 2026 election.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request the removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion.
Thank you. Would the board like to pull any of the items? Would any member of the public like to pull any items?
We have no online.
Oh, great, thank you. I'll bring it back to the board.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. We'll move on to our regular agenda now. Item number 26.
Item 26, resolution, Health and Human Services Agency acting as the in-home supportive services public authority, authorize the board chair to execute an interagency agreement effective July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2028, formalizing staffing and administrative services to be provided by county departments and reimbursement as specified in the agreement, ensuring effective operation and compliance of the in-home supportive services public authority as required by statute and local ordinance.
Good morning, Mr. Munoz.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Marcus Munoz, Health and Human Services Agency Director. First, I want to start off with an apology as there is a typo on this in the staff report and the resolution. It says on December 2022, the Calaveras County Board adopted an ordinance. That should state 2002, not 2022. But in 2002, the board adopted ordinance 2722, which established the public authority. And so at that time, we had an interagency agreement which spells out the duties that the county provides to the public authority. The public authority is a separate entity. And this agreement here is to put that interagency agreement in place from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board? No?
Good job.
Is there any public comment regarding this item?
We have no online public comment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Move on to item number 27. Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna vote.
I'm sorry.
So moved.
I'm trying to get through it, you know?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. 5-0. Now we can move on to item 27.
So, Chair, I do not see our representative for.
I don't see him either. I must
He
be,
probably wasn't
expected
figuring we'd be
participants.
ready by now.
yeah.
Should we?
Let's move on to
Let's kick
28.
it to the end. Kick it to the end. In case he shows up.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. thank you. So we'll move on to 28.
Item 28, action item, administrative office, introduce, waive first reading and authorize summary publication of an ordinance amending county code section 2.32.060, offices of sheriff, public administrator, and coroner consolidated.
Madam CEO?
Good morning, Chair Habri, members of the board. On August 26, 2025, the Administrative Office presented a number of options for the provision of coroner services to your board. At that meeting, we were directed to implement option number 2, which included combining the sheriff coroner along with the public administrator with the sheriff's office. This ordinance is the implementation of that direction by your board.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Move on to public comment.
Where do you get the pink shirt from with the patches?
Well, you can order the ones we just put out online, but apparently.
The flyer.
Okay. Yeah, right there. That would be, that'd be a good starting spot. I might be able to find you,
I want that
official
shirt
one,
though.
You're gonna want different, trust me. I just have one concern with this. I believe that we need to have a start date added.
I can speak to that.
Okay.
Thank you, Under Sheriff. Yeah, I actually did want to clarify that for the board. So, like most ordinances, this will take effect or 30 days after the board adopts it, which will presumably be at your next meeting. That said, the change doesn't actually happen until after this current term of the elected coroner public administrator ends. Unfortunately, the board, even if it wanted to, couldn't curtail or shorten another elected official's term. So this will actually, it becomes effective 30 days after adoption, but the changeover will not happen until January of 2027.
I just reading through this in-depthly, just there's more waivers of like unconstitutional and everything else than anything else in this.
Oh, all of the
It's short. It's short.
boilerplate language.
It's short and sweet.
It is. It's very short. The board, as we discussed, pursuant to government code, these are offices that the board has the ability to consolidate via ordinance. So it's relatively simple and it tracks our other elected official or elected office consolidation ordinances.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that there's no implication of duties or liability until after the current coroner's position. So
That's correct. Yes.
There is a caveat, though, if I'm not mistaken. If Kevin steps down before his term is over, then this will take effect.
No, I think it actually would operate just like any other elected official leaving office before the end of their term. The board would have to appoint somebody to finish the remainder of that term. And then it's still only once this term is over would it be consolidated with the sheriff's office.
just
Thank you.
But that would be a choice to clarify that.
in writing when we.
No.
We can definitely what we'll do is when we bring this back for adoption, we can put something in the staff report that makes that very clear. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question. During that time, can there still be collaboration of transitioning? That doesn't stop them from doing that, correct? No.
That was absolutely the intent behind
Okay, I
doing
just-
this now. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure based off of the previous conversation, it doesn't unwind that. Okay.
No, there will definitely be, and I think there already is collaboration, and during that, transition, it's just technically, the coroner, our elected coroner remains the coroner and public administrator until that date, and that's when it'll officially transition.
I believe we'll work in conjunction with them, but we won't be taking any liability or duties until that start date. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment?
Smooth transition.
We have no online public comment.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to the board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. We'll move on to item number 29.
Item 29, action item, building, find exempt from CEQA, introduce, waive full reading of, and authorize a summary publication of notice for an ordinance amending chapter 15.04 of the county code to incorporate by reference the newest versions of various uniform building codes and appendices.
Morning, Mr. Oliver.
Morning, Chair, members of the board, Doug Oliver, Chief Building Official. And what I bring to you today is the thing that our department dreads every 3 years, and is the triennial code adoption. Your board is aware that this is a 3-year process where the Building Standards Commission takes information from various sources and code bodies, and they vote and generate a California Building Standards Code, which is published January of the preceding year, and we have 6 months to adopt our own version of it, which the due date technically is by December 31st, or our jurisdiction adopts by acclamation, which means if we don't adopt an ordinance, then we have to accept what the state has given us with 0 changes. We are allowed to make changes that are at least as restrictive, if not more restrictive in general. However, we do also get the opportunity to adopt appendices in the back of the book that are optional. In this code adoption cycle, we have 0 additional amendments or changes as it relates to any special conditions in this county. So we are just taking what the code says. However, we have taken the opportunity to adopt numerous appendices that will afford some greater flexibility and some greater information that we can use for people, your average home builders or small construction type project. Specifically, one of the new appendices in the residential code is for patio covers. Previously, we only had 2 paragraphs, maybe 3 to work off of in the back of the code book, and this appendix gives us streamlined tables and some details, some standard wood construction information that we can allow people to use as an alternate to, in many cases, to going and getting engineering. You can just employ these products, and most of this will be good up to 70-pound snow load, which puts us just above Murphy's, so that most of the county is going to take advantage of changes like this. So we do have a handful of other appendices related to some alternate products like straw bale construction, cob construction. I specifically recommended adopting the appendix for tiny homes. As your board is aware, this has become a big topic. Tiny homes has been a question mark for several years, at least 2 code cycles. We've struggled over it. The HCD has put out guidance to say if it's a tiny home, it's one of 3 things. It's either a RV, it's a mobile home, or it's a conventionally built dwelling. It's just small. Well, there wasn't really good guidance on how small, what facilities and things like that need to be inside that structure. So that appendix gives us some greater flexibility for people who want to build smaller structures, and hopefully that'll help generate some housing. Like every code adoption cycle, there's a lot of changes. Many of them will not apply to a rural community. For instance, the electrical code alone had over 1,000 changes. Of those changes, 300, close to 400 applied statewide. But enforced locally, it's about 77 are actually going to apply here, and most of them are repeats of you need ground fault protection here, here, and here, what you didn't used to. Many of the codes are going to behave like that. We are going to have some changes that affect us rurally that will not affect us, or will. There's a lot of things that will not affect us because they apply to hospitals, because they apply to high-rise structures, so things that we just don't see in security. So what I am bringing by the middle of November, I will have posted on the webpage some stripped down sheets of the code sections that will apply locally, so that we have a month and a half or so for builders to get that information. And in addition to that, understanding that there's still, just like every 3 years, we have a bunch of projects that people want to submit the plans by January. Something happens, the engineer goes on vacation, or the designers, the business shuts down for whatever reason, and they get delayed to a portion of their plans. So we will be implementing the alternate application method for close to the end of the year. So if anyone is having a hardship getting all their plans, they can submit an application with an addendum to say, we couldn't get the trusses on time. And we'll accept their application and put it on hold until they can get the remainder of the application. We won't reject them, before the end of the year. So, because if they can get an application in by the end of the year, we will review those plans on the current code cycle. The hardship often is that they design the building to the current code cycle. They have a delay, they submit after January, and we say, take it back to the engineer and completely redesign it. And there are some significant structural design changes in the codes. So especially as it relates to metal buildings, even wood frame buildings, there's significant changes in structural design if an engineer is involved. And we want to make sure that nobody is faced with doubling the cost of their design because they came in a day late. So we will be providing that information on the website and getting that information out to the builders so that we can get as many people served as possible without impacting them dramatically. There are some significant book changes. We have a new book that has been adopted by the Building Standards Commission, and that is a Wildland Urban Interface Code. This code was initially just a handful of pages in the building code. The State Fire Marshal's office has elected to extract that from the building code and the residential code, make that a separate code book. And in doing so, they also migrated all the requirements for 4290, defensible space, fire safe standards into that code as well. That does give us some benefits because it delegates the enforcement of 1- and 2-family dwellings to the building department. That means that for commercial construction and things like that, the 4290 would still be served by CAL FIRE. But in this case, for 1- and 2-family dwellings, we can review the 4290 requirements under the authority of the building department, which prevents any delays in reviews between state agencies and our department. So it cuts out a lot of routing, it cuts out a lot of time, and it kind of resets back a lot of the things that we were doing a year ago. And so hopefully we'll get some efficiency back in, and we can make some meaningful improvements in how fast things can get built out there. At this time, I really don't have anything else to add, except it is a change. There will be some flexibility as people learn. We will get as much educational material out as we can, and we will work with the builders moving into the beginning of the year to get the information out and remain as flexible as possible where we can. Is there any questions?
I have a few, Doug, just real quick, with this, with our current Title 25, on like leniency, if people don't want to put in as much electrical and things like this, does this have a lot of impact on that?
No, because the basis, the code is the basis of approval, not the strict letter of code.
Right.
So there's still some flexibility. There will be new products that we can compare to now.
Okay,
And there's some flexibility in some of the codes as it relates to 1 and 2 family, just by the size of the building now that we never had before, that we can then use as a basis for approval of those rural dwellings. So that I anticipate some enhanced flexibility in that regard, because these rural homes are generally smaller, so they can take advantage of it.
excellent, excellent. Special, metal buildings. So with a lot of the new engineering, there's special inspections that are involved with it. Are all these gonna need to be done by the building department, or are they able to hire a special inspector that inspection, if they're certified as an inspector, that would fly with the building department?
So chapter 17 was altered to require additional special inspections for steel buildings.
Yes.
Specifically for items that up until now, the building department wasn't inspecting. We still have the requirement to make sure that several of the components that are part of that same inspection get looked at by us. In addition, we would be looking to make sure the special inspector did their job, meaning spot checking. We're not gonna do a complete inspection of what.
Right,
they've
you do a
already done.
pull test on 1 anchor bolt per
Yeah,
se.
yeah, we look at the welds, spot check the welds to make sure they're right, but ultimately, it would be up to the builder to require a special inspector with those certifications. That's a private entity. Now, I hope it's not a significant increase, because the previous cycle only required inspection of high strength bolting. That's at the same time that we check everything else, so the special inspector, if they have all the appropriate certifications, shouldn't have to make more than one stop to look at everything.
Right.
So there may be a slight increase in hourly rate, but hopefully with some good coordination, it won't be a significant increase to the building. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
I can appreciate that. Here, put on my glasses so I can read. 4290, do we, with that addition, are you applying the hourly rate from the fee structure that we had previously gone over, so that, I mean, this wasn't fully part of it, but I mean.
So the original fee structure that your board adopted included working the 15 minutes or so into that time, because we did the 4290, the defense, not the defensible space, but the fire safe standards. Those were worked into the foundation inspection, the frame inspection, final inspection. So that was already built in, and we were doing that work. Now, for a short time, we suspended that because we no longer had that authority, but now we've got it back. So by the time you see the next fee study, the times will not have changed. We scaled down, and then we're bringing it right back to where it was.
Gotcha. So it was in the original fee structure. Perfect. And hopefully, this is a telltale on building, usually during this 3-year cycles, because there's quite a few people who put in everything before December 31st. Some of them end up not building, but they're in a hurry to get it underneath the old code.
Right.
But reading through it, I mean, some of the small buildings and metal buildings aside, it's mostly things that have been already happening for the most part.
The industry has been, well, I mean, it's evolving every day.
Yeah.
And many builders who, they have the opportunity to take advantage of a new system to save money, they're gonna do it. So that, like I said, there will be some surprises if we're not careful. The electrical requirements, adding more surge protection, more GFI protection. These are things that mechanical contractors and electrical contractors will have to know going into January. And that's not to say that we have to be terribly rigid about it, because a lot of it is replacement of existing systems. That's kind of the new thing, is that the electrical code is saying if you replace old equipment with new, it triggers these new codes where it never used to do that.
Right.
So it's gonna be important for us to get that information out sooner rather than later, and really the mechanical and electrical contractors
Are you starting to see a little bit of a flood of applications coming in right now?
Not yet. It
Not
will
yet.
happen on December 31st at 4 p.m.
They'll be lined out the door. Brilliantly. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Supervisor Follendorf?
I have one question. I know I've asked you about this in the past. Could you clarify more on the tiny houses on the definition of that and from RVs? Because I have gotten calls about tiny houses with wheels and then that being considered an actual tiny house under the code. So has that changed? I still haven't seen any clarity on that.
So I'll have to dig out the definition that was provided by Housing and Community Development and posted on the website. But there was a letter written by HCD that clarified, because this is kind of a micro industry. There's a lot of people shifting in there and calling it tiny homes, but they're tiny homes with wheels, or they're, you know, they make distinctions that don't fit in the code. So Housing and Community Development essentially said, you are one of three things based on what code you fell under. So you either fall entirely under Department of Transportation and the rules for construction of a recreational vehicle, or you fall under the requirements of Title 25 under Housing and Community Development as a manufactured home or factory built home, or you fall under Title 24, which is the local adoption and enforcement of the codes for single family dwellings. You can't shoot the gap and do a little bit of each. You have to pick one and go with it. And so when somebody says tiny home with wheels, I say, are you licensed by the DMV? No. Well, then it's not an RV. Are you licensed or are you listed from the plant as a manufactured home? No. Okay, well then you have to follow these rules. Now, if you fit in any one of those, we'll go with it. But the hardship is there's a lot of people that are purchasing a tiny home on wheels that is technically a recreational vehicle, and there's no zoning in our county that allows you to permanently live in a recreational vehicle, except for special occupancy parks, which are RV parks.
Thank you.
Supervisor Stopper?
No, go ahead.
I just had one question about the patio covers. If they're not attached to the dwelling, are they still a freestanding?
They can be either.
So it doesn't distinguish between the two.
No, it's just design method for one or the other. If it's freestanding, then it has to entirely support itself in the event of wind or earthquake. But if it's attached to a house,
Right.
it can take advantage of the bracing built into the house.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still gonna require a permit, whether it's freestanding or not, even though it's only covered on one side, which would be next to the dwelling. Versus not having covers.
So if it is freestanding, it would not require a building permit if it's 120 square feet or less, so 10 by 12. That would not require a building permit. And I'm gonna say this on camera. There's nothing in zoning that says how many of those you can have on your property. If you wanna have a couple.
There's,
next to each other.
but there is a 5-foot separation in the building code though, right, Doug?
Not necessarily, no.
Oh, so I could put a 6-inch space?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about this now.
Hey, you wanted to hire a helpful building official.
Hey, you know what? No, I just don't drive by my property.
Thank you for answering. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Some people may be listening out here.
And if anyone has any questions, they can call our front counter. Our staff is meeting daily to cover code update items, so all the codes from now until adoption, to make sure that even the front counter staff has the information available to answer questions.
I have one question to follow up on Supervisor Follendorf's with tiny homes. I didn't really process this before, but you just said zoning for let's say DMV registered RVs. Does that cause a problem with it being labeled a tiny home now? Because I was like, the whole time we're talking about, I was starting to process like camping time, 2 weeks and all, and getting questions and letters about people wanting to put RVs on their property, you know, which kind of litters the landscape in a rural community in a certain sense, but at the same time can provide necessarily needed housing. So
Well,
So maybe it's a question I should sit down with, Julie and you and talk a little bit more on, because.
Oh, she is behind me.
Yeah, no, I saw her out there. We got our planning and building council right there, so
Right.
maybe.
Well, in essence, well, I'll look at it this way, up until these code cycles, tiny homes, I call them unicorns. They really didn't exist. They're
Yeah.
either an RV, a manufactured home, or a single family dwelling. Built
Right.
under Cal 24, and really that hasn't changed. What the building code did was say, we're going to make a definition of tiny home that is a home. It just is allowed to be smaller than what you would normally define a home as. So even in they reduced the overall square footage to 190 square feet for a tiny home to be consistent with efficiency dwellings, which are, one room apartments. So they reduce the size, they reduce the overall ceiling height. They allow for one egress route, they allow for several things that wouldn't necessarily be allowed in a single family dwelling because the size is such that it is not a significant hazard. So that's really all they did was define it a little better in the code, but it still is one of those three categories. And one more thing, HCD does not really recognize taking an RV and using the code to convert it into a single family dwelling under Title 24. So if we roll up and there's an RV and I say, well, I want to get a permit under rural dwelling to turn it into a house. There's no engineering method that HCD is aware of that could allow you to get an RV to meet the standards of Title 24.
Right,
So that's something that people have
but
tried
they
in the
let
past.
you call it a tiny home, but it's
You just call
not,
it tiny home, but it's tiny. That's
Yeah.
really it.
but it's not housing. Yeah,
It is.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm not not going down this route right now, because interpretation, I'll let Julie set me right. With that, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I would love just to know, I know about 25 years ago, straw bale was very popular and there were a few builds. Is anybody looking at straw bale these days?
We haven't had any applications in a while. It is labor intensive, and if you don't do it right, water gets into the straw and it causes mold issues. If you're good at it, it's a good product. If there's a problem, it's
Yeah, that was my
the opposite.
second question was how are these buildings aging?
Right, well,
that's
complaints, but I mean, from just anecdotally from other jurisdictions, the problems that they've had, because we haven't had enough to get really a good test bed.
Right.
But we leave it open so that people can still experiment with these products and, see if we can improve on it.
Gotcha.
It's about the upkeep.
Yeah.
Basically with the stucco style out exterior that was used mostly with them. It will break down and start to crack. And then it's all about the upkeep on them, on the exterior for the most part.
For the most part.
And I'm also glad to see your work in the WUI. I think that's really important. So thank you. Is there any public comment regarding this? Do we have any online?
We have no online public comment.
Super. I'll bring it back to the board then.
I'll move this item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Tug.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Stacy.
I didn't know Julie was involved.
You didn't know she was involved?
Oh, my God.
How could you know?
Yes, hi. I was trying to get a hold of Dr. Colton. Does the office number then? I thought it was correct. Thank you very much.
We may have an option, Chair. We will be going into closed session. We'll need to come back out to report out. If he gets here during that time, then he could do his presentation when we get back. Otherwise, we would have to postpone it to a different meeting. The clerk's office did try calling him right.
And
before
email,
and
yes, we've tried several people.
Yeah.
So,
Unless you have supervisor announcements.
Sorry. We are going to adjourn into closed session.
sorry, really quickly, can we report out from last closed session?
I thought we were doing those both at the end.
Same, okay.
Or do you want to do it now?
It doesn't either way.
Okay.
And then I also don't know if the board has any supervisor announcements. We could do those and then we can go into close and then report out.
Okay, let's do that then, if you wouldn't mind pouring out from last.
So the closed session from September 23rd, it was item 1 pursuant to Government Code 54957B, considered the disability retirement of a safety employee, board action, no reportable action taken. And item 2 pursuant to Government Code 54957B, considered a disability retirement of a safety employee, board action, no reportable action taken.
Thank you. We'll move on to supervisor announcements. Supervisor Stopper.
Thank you.
Supervisor Toffenelli.
Yes, thank you. I have a Mountain County EMS agency meeting this Friday. I have a CPPA meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m., which is Calaveras Public Power Authority meeting. And I wore pink today in honor of the breast cancer. I will be wearing purple for domestic abuse at our next meeting, which is, I believe, the 28th. And I would ask the rest of the board if they could show up in respect and wear purple that day. And that's it.
Thank you. Supervisor Follendorf.
Yes, I just want to let the rest of the board know that Habitat for Humanity Calaveras is now in a new location, and they will be having a grand opening this Wednesday from 5 to 7 at 1311 South Main Street in Angels Camp. So from, did I say 5 to 7? Yeah, 5 to 7. So if you're around and want to come look at the new Habitat for Humanity home, please stop by.
I also wore pink today, Supervisor Tofinelli, in honor of breast cancer awareness, and I will see if I can come up with purple for next time. I want to thank McCollum Hill for a wonderful mural dedication on September 27th. I attended an UMRA meeting on October 3rd and their annual barbecue at Pardee. And Lumberjack Day in West Point on October 4th was a huge hit, as always. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start off by reminding everybody that our next meeting is the 28th, but then we are actually then having another meeting a week later. So it's the 4th because Veterans Day is the 11th. So we won't be meeting the second Tuesday. We'll be meeting the first Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday. Yeah, got it. Yes. Had to think about that one.
What about the 3rd?
Yeah, that you can, it's all yours. Do whatever you want. I just wanted to shout out again to Micah and to Eric with helping with all of this. Median madness has been going on for 6 weeks now. This is our 6th week. I wanted to do a shout out to the health fair, which was amazing, and to the Bud barbecue. Also, we did a Superior Court tour, which was great. Thank you, Monica. We did Grape Stomp, Gold Rush Street Fair, Mark Twain Wild West Fest, Taps for Tatas, all been amazing. Today we have Senator Alvarado Gill at 12 to 2 at the Murphy's Hotel. She'll be talking about wine and of course the median. And also we had a successful wrap of the picture of the feature film that was being made in our county this past Saturday. And that's it. So we'll go into
You did show up if you wanted to.
Oh, yes, please. I'm sorry, I didn't even notice. Dr. Carlton, we're ready for you now.
So we're going to go to item 27. Informational item, Clerk of the Board of Supervisors receive a presentation from Amador Senior Center on the Meals on Wheels program available to the residents of the county.
Well, good morning, board. Good morning, Calaveras County staff. You moved quickly today. The meeting was moving. I congratulate you on that. A little quicker than me, so I apologize for just running in here. Amador Senior Center has been running the Meals on Wheels program in Calaveras County here for just over 18 months. We're really excited to be here. It's an honor and privilege to serve this county. Just as a reminder, we serve about 117 clients here in Calaveras. And those clients receive on a weekly basis 5 frozen meals that are flash frozen, cooked fresh, and then flash frozen. And they run on a trailing menu to our Amador Senior Center menu so that they're delivered the week after they're prepared at the Amador site. Those meals are delivered wonderfully by not only our staff, but also by 3 now volunteers that we've recruited to serve in Calaveras, which really help us keep costs down. It also creates a good deal of community ownership, which we like to see. As an outside organization to this county, it's very encouraging to see folks begin to rise up and take ownership of their local area. One of our volunteers serves in Arnold, and certainly through the winter months is pushing through the treacherous mountain roads to make those deliveries, and we're grateful for that. We also have a volunteer in Murphy's who makes deliveries to clients, not only in the Murphy's area, but also Vallecito. And our third volunteer is located in Valley Springs, and she delivers once a week as well, providing meals to about half the route, and then the other half of the route is covered by staff. And for anybody who is new to understanding what Meals on Wheels is, it's a program for isolated seniors who are unable to get out of the home, who are socially isolated and at risk for hunger and for malnutrition. And so we provide these meals through funding, not only from Calaveras County, but we just won a grant through the Calaveras Community Foundation, for which we're very grateful. And the client contributions that come from those clients as well, and our request is $4 per meal. On average, we receive less than $1. It's about 75 cents per meal from those older adults. Those contributions are completely voluntary and not expected, but they certainly go toward the cost of providing the service to those older adults. We also receive funding, a significant portion of funding from Area 12 Agency on Aging to make those meals possible. We have been receiving calls this week and last week with regard to the government shutdown and whether it is affecting the Meals on Wheels service. As of yet, it is not. California Department of Aging has issued a notice that the state has enough funds to continue the program through the end of December before there's a real issue. So let's hope the federal government can figure out a way forward and get the funding to make that happen. So at least through the end of December, funding is available through the state. And then Amador Senior Center has a minimum of 2 months reserves, maybe a little longer, depending on moving some things around to continue the program should the state funds run out. So we're looking at about 5 months out before there's any real big issue. So we would anticipate that if we're into February and a government shutdown, we're in big trouble. But we'll make it through, and I know that we'll continue to provide these services. So to give you a little review on what we did last fiscal year, we were able to deliver 32,210 meals to residents of Calaveras County. We had 78 volunteer hours for a total value of $1,288. This year, that's going to triple because we moved from 1 volunteer to being able to employ 3 volunteers. And some highlights of the program, not only were the recruitment of those 3 volunteers and their successful deployment, but also we distributed 20 additional shelf-stable meals out to residents of Calaveras County. These meals are good for about 2 years of shelf life, and they're designed to allow people to take them with them should they be evacuated for fire or some sort of emergency. We did have one client give us a call just to tell us how delicious the emergency meals were outside of an emergency. So we had to remind the clients that they are for emergencies, and we redistributed to that client some emergency meals. But it was nice to hear the quality of the meal was good, and they enjoyed that shelf-stable meal. We also were able to deliver 864 pounds of pet food this last year to clients, everything from cat food to dog food, and then some supplies, mostly cat litter, to older adults to support them and continue to support them so that they don't compromise their own nutritional well-being for the sake of their animal. And then I wanted to leave you with this note that came from one of our clients here in Calaveras. She just writes, "Thank you. The meals are so delicious. I love all of them." She underlined that in red to make sure we saw that. "So very good and balanced, full of flavor, perfect portions. I appreciate you. I'm so thankful and blessed by your service for seniors." So we're very grateful to see that our clients are happy with the service we're providing. So that concludes my report. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
Just want to say thank you. And, you know, for the collaboration and working with us. And it's good to see someone that's being proactive coming in more than once a year to tell us about how good of a job they're doing for Calaveras County residents. Thank you.
Same thing, just thank you. I'm glad to hear that there's now gonna be some more volunteers helping out on this side of the river. So that's good.
Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you very much for all that you do, and it's working very well here in Calaveras. Thanks for taking it over. Because at one time we had some issues, we didn't know what we were gonna do, but you guys stepped in, and thank you very much.
It's a pleasure and honor. I want to say thank you also to you who helped to fund this. Thank you. We did receive our check. Thank you to Calaveras County staff. Teresa, you and your staff are wonderful to work with. And thank you for getting that payment immediately out to us. We put it right to work. And so thank you for your partnership. Our hope is to hopefully get to 5 volunteers. We'd love 2 more, maybe one in the Copper Angels area and one in San Andreas. And that way we can really create that community ownership we're looking for and help Calaveras move forward in this area.
Thank you. Is there any public comment regarding this item? Is there any online?
We have no online public comment.
Okay. Thank you so much
Good.
for coming in.
Thank
Again,
you very
thank you
much.
so much for taking us all on board.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
The shelf data rolls that she said were so good. What's the brand on this?
So the company we're using is out of Florida, and the name of it is Miss Olives. Miss Olives.
Miss Alls.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This, I have a lot of shelf stable things on one of my tracks and one for taste it.
I don't know the judgment of the client who ate them, but certainly.
I can order some and figure it out for myself.
Sure.
I appreciate the information, Miss Olives.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you. So we'll break now. Madam Clerk, if you read out the closed session item, and then after closed session, we'll come back to report out.
Closed session agenda item number 30 pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 D1. Conference legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Local Motos Farms versus Calaveras County Tax Collector and Calaveras County Division of Cannabis Control, Calaveras County Superior Court case number 25CV 48292.
Thank you
And we have no online public comment for this.
for that. Okay, thank you. I've seen none in the room either.
You got something to say?
Thank you.
You didn't post it? Where was it?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, now we're back from closed session. Madam Clerk, will you report out?
Yes. Report out for today's closed session, item 1 pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 D1, conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Locomotives Farms versus Calaveras County Tax Collector and Calaveras County Division of Cannabis Control, Calaveras County Superior Court Case number 25 CV 48292. Board action on a motion by Supervisor Stopper and a second by Supervisor Pollendorf. The board voted unanimously to authorize county council to defend the county in this action in which plaintiff Locomotives Farms challenges the revocation of its cannabis cultivation permit and to retain the Hefner Law Firm to assist county council in representing the county in the action.
Thank you. Any other thoughts or comments? Then we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Well.